What's up, guys? This is Cap, and I'm doing an interview for Esports GG with Team Liquid's captain, iNSaNiA, handsome man, great Dota 2 player, very charismatic, and very humble as well. All in all, you're like the full package. You know that, iNSaNiA?
Why, thank you, Cap. I could say the same things about you.
All right, well, this interview isn't about me. It's about you, and it's about your team. And you guys managed to get second at DPC, so you're going straight to the group stage this time around. Was that a big sigh of relief for you guys? Because the wild card was kind of sus last time. You guys barely squeaked through.
Yeah, I mean, when I heard there was like a high chance for tiebreakers, I was like, all right, we're playing tiebreakers. We're Team Liquid. We always get stuck in that position. We somehow manage to always get into tiebreaker situations. So that's what I honestly expected, but we managed to pull through and beat OG thanks to Quickfuzz Lovely Broodmother. It hadn't made an appearance in a while, so it was nice to bust that out again.
So I was actually I was casting that game, and I remember I had a stat for it. You guys had some crazy record against OG since you guys have joined Team Liquid. Not since your inception as a team, but since you've been on Team Liquid. Your record against OG after that series is now 19-5. Did you know that?
That's wild. Yeah, Blitz mentioned it, truly. I think at some point he mentioned that you guys talked about it on the cast that we've won almost all of our games against OG. Or at least all of our series almost.
You guys have lost one series, I believe. You have
and
tied.
That was Epicenter, right?
Yeah, at Epic League, you lost a series, and then your very first series as Team Liquid, you tied. You went 1-1. It was some 2-game series.
Yeah. Sorry, my coach is...
Tell your coach if he wants to be on camera, he needs to be farther to the left.
Okay.
All I see is anybody who's watching this is only seeing his arm floating around in the air.
Yeah, I mean, you know the dumbass pretty well, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
but our record is, I mean, to me personally, I always think of pretty tough competitor. I mean, we've managed to clutch it out, it sounds like, but I don't think by any means I feel like we're playing against OGOs is going to be a piece. I think they're actually a really, really tough opponent. But I do enjoy our games quite a bit.
Do you feel like you match up against them in some specific way?
I mean, the statistics seem to lean that way, but playing against them, I don't necessarily feel that way. I don't feel like there's anything that necessarily always gives us an edge or anything like that. I think they, like I said, they're a really tough opponent, and I think they're quite a lot of fun to play against. Maybe it's just that, we all go in with maybe a bit more love for the game when we're playing against OG, because we know they're gonna play a style of game fun for us to play that we enjoy playing. So I'm not sure where the record comes from or why it is.
Well, I would have to. I think your last statement about you guys just having fun playing the game, it does feel like you guys have a lot of fun as a Dota team together, so it definitely, I feel like that could definitely have a big impact. I mean, that's sort of isn't that part of OG's mantra of them winning DI and stuff, is having fun and family and love and all that other bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's I mean, at least just my experience on this team, when we do have more fun and when we do enjoy playing the game, we tend to care about it more as well, because it becomes such a nice thing to do, and you're more invested and you're more willing to play your pubs. All this stuff becomes a lot easier, and the things that are hard about the game suddenly become a lot easier because you're just enjoying yourself. You're having a good time. This is fun. The challenges. So I think in that way it is really, and it is something that makes these tough games a little bit easier, I guess.
All right, so you guys are going to the major, and I am assuming, since you guys haven't said otherwise, that you are going to be playing with SumaiL and not with Boxi for the major?
Yes, we will be playing the major.
Okay, so in that case, since you guys have been not playing with Boxi for about a month now at this point in time, and I always feel like when it comes to any sort of roster change, there is always something you discover about the person that they added to the team once they're gone, right? It's like you don't really know about that necessarily until that person's gone. So is there anything that stood out to you since you've played with since playing with SumaiL that you've been like, oh, this is what Boxi brought to the team that was like good for us?
Yeah, I mean, Boxy brought a lot of structure and I think a lot of drive and like to help our team improve. He was very like, regardless of if we won or lost, he was like first guy to be like, we need to do this better. This is very important. We could be faster in this regard. We could be doing this better. And I think in terms of like a lot of our structure and how we want to approach certain, he had a pretty big influence, which was pretty noticeable once he left. And I think those two are probably like his two biggest like qualities outside of like obvious things like his hero pool is massive or his individual skill, but like in terms of like team dynamic, I think that's like thing that I noticed.
So outside of those same things, hero pool and that sort of thing, what is something that you feel like SumaiL has been bringing to the table, something that is new for Team Liquid?
I think in a lot of ways we play a lot more freely now. It's a lot more because like, you know, with Boxy we had a lot more structure because that's what he brought to the table, and that's something that was really, really good in that iteration of the roster. And in the current one, there's a lot more kind of like freestyle gameplay where I think a lot of like you get to see these like individual plays from maybe Tommy or Mike or SumaiL, and we're just kind of like playing a bit more off of like how we feel in the game, or like just trusting someone's intuition and like rolling with it a bit more. So I think there's definitely some of that. Also, SumaiL is, in my personal opinion, no offense to Quickfa, hands down like, the best mid laner when it comes to pure laning. So it opens up a different style of drafting, which I thought is very interesting. And you can draft around SumaiL in a much different way than we were before, which I thought is really, really cool. And it's something that I think you probably wouldn't get if it weren't for how technically good he is at playing just as lane.
So can I take a little bit of a guess here? Is it something like so with Koifa, this is how I view him anyway, that I can draft his hero before seeing the opposing mid laner, and Koifa will never get stomped super hard. But with SumaiL, I feel like I want him to have the better matchup because he's going to grind that other guy into the dirt, you know?
I see how you could view it that way. The way that I think we've been doing it is more that with Max, I generally like keep it open because he has such a wide hero pool, and the opportunity to get like this Brood pick or Huskar or, you know, whatever hero that is like they can't do anything about this. You want to always have that option open. Exactly.
Okay,
you always want to have that option open. Whereas with SumaiL, I feel like he's a bit more of an honest mid laner. So he's just like, pick me this hero, I'll destroy anyone. I don't care what they play. Like, it doesn't matter. And then sometimes like the matchup will be more even because like the other guy has a counter pick on him, but generally speaking, it will always go well. But I think what you said about
it's Max, opposite of what I said, basically, that you're able to draft SumaiL's hero earlier because he'll take unfavorable matchups, whereas Koifa, you want to be able to have the option of last pick Brood or Huskar or something really dirty.
Yeah, I guess in some ways, yes. But I also know that like you could also put Max in like you just, you know, put him on whatever hero and he will draw the lane against anyone.
Yeah.
But because there is the option of all the cheese, you always have to weigh like, what do I need more in this series? Do I think might expose themselves to some kind of hero, or, you know, you gotta always value the trade-off. But when like you're not really considering Huskars and Londra or Lycans maybe in the same way with SumaiL mid, it kind of slightly shifts the way you prioritize in the draft.
All right, so Europe sucked last major, for the most part. I mean, I think you guys were the second best European team there, right? You guys managed to grind through wild cards, long group stage, go to playoffs, 9 through 12. Not terrible, especially given how many games you played, but Alliance suffered. Nigma obviously didn't make it out of wild card, and Secret, because people expect them to be first, second, third, fourth was a little bit underwhelming for them. How did you feel looking at that major? Do you feel like Europe underperformed for a certain reason?
I think the biggest thing, at least the way I felt when I was there, was that we were a bit out of touch with the heroes and the heroes that we needed to play. It seemed like the playstyle that like the Chinese teams had just straight up beat ours. So we were playing catch up. I don't think necessarily like skill wise the team, like European teams, are that bad, but I think our ideas about the game and drafts into the event with and the strategies that we had just did not match up against the other regions at all. Like, I felt like in a lot of series where we lost, it was just like we just lost. There was not much you could do about it gameplay wise. So it was a lot of playing catch up draft and trying to figure out like what is good and how to beat a lot of the heroes that. So like, funnily enough, we went into it thinking that like IO core was going to be untouched, and we had this like magic ace up our sleeves that nobody else knew about, and then because nobody in Europe was playing it. Then when we got there, we're like, oh shit, everybody knows about this band every game. And then we were like, all right, it's all good though, because we have this backup plan in Puck, and we play it kind of like a carry, and Mickey plays it mid. And then everybody else was also onto it. Whereas in Europe, like when we were playing our scrims, nobody was picking these heroes. We were just getting them every game, but we wanted to play them. So I think strategy-wise, it was probably like the event that Europe was the most behind. But looking at like, for example, this Kiev major, it looks at least like a lot the drafts are more even, and I think like at least we have done our job a lot better in looking at the other regions and making sure that like we keep an eye out at what they're doing and trying to keep track of like what heroes they're picking and trying to have some sort of answer.
So speaking of that, since China came out of the last major looking like the strongest region, let me throw some heroes at you with some numbers. All right, Train Protector picked up 3 games in Europe, 17 times in China. Ursa, 1 game in Europe, 15 times in China. Legion Commander, 4 times in Europe, 15 times in China. I'm sure you guys are looking at China quite a bit and looking at some of those heroes and being like, okay, have you already started working some of those heroes into your scrims and that sort of thing and seeing if they actually fit for your style?
So yeah, we're mostly looking at like how do we answer specific things that they might play with the stuff that we already have, or do we need to add heroes to our hero pool in order to have it? So that's kind of like in the way that we're thinking about our approach.
So not necessarily taking that style of what other regions are doing for yourselves, but just making sure that you're aware of it and you know how to counter it.
Precisely. At least some stuff, of course, it's like you get some really good ideas. You notice how they do things. You might copy it yourself too. But more than anything, I want to make sure that we're ready for whatever they might throw at us. I don't want to be in a position where like they're picking Pangolier and we're like, all right, shit, we don't know what the answer to Pango is because we have not played against it in Europe whatsoever, or we've always had, Whisper Puck that dealt with it, so it's not been an issue for us. So yeah, more so in the like trying to find answers to what they might throw at us rather than just copying what they're doing.
Okay, well that's all I have for you. Thank you so much, Aydin, for coming on and doing this interview with me. You got any shout-outs or anything you want to give?
No, not really.
Okay.
Shout out to Team Liquid. Thank you for sponsoring us.
All right. Good luck at the major, dude.
Thank you.